This is Andy Perrault for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. I'm delighted to be joined by Anthony Crolla, $1 Million Crolla. I know you've been around now for a while today, but I appreciate you hanging around once more.
No, don't be daft.
So thanks for
Daft. No, appreciate it. It's one of the last hard sessions before next week. So I'm in a good place. Obviously, interviews and a bit of filming and stuff like that. That's all part and parcel of it. I can't complain.
Just talk to me about this process now. It's your last camp. How has it felt as time's gone on and progressed?
At times, there is times where you think, "Oh, it's the last time this, or I shouldn't complain, or I shouldn't feel sorry for myself when things get hard because it's the last time." But I try not to have thought about it as my last camp. I said once the fight got made that you start thinking like that, you can get emotional, and I'm an emotional guy anyway. But you start thinking of everything like that, then you start fighting on emotions, and it's very rare that you fight on emotions it ends well. So I'm not thinking of this. It is my last fight. I'm not thinking this is my last camp, my last press conference, my last weigh-in, my last ring walk. Because if you start doing that, then emotions get involved and you come away from the game plan. And I say it about boxing, it's you can keep a cool head in a hot kitchen, and I won't be doing that if I'm fighting on emotions.
Have you felt it at all? Has anything kind of made you realise, oh, it's the last thing that I'm going to do? Oh, that's the last time. Has anything at all kind of crossed your mind like that?
No, even like, within the odd time when Joe says, "Carl, this will be your last one of it," it's a tough session. Or just, about when you're talking about it now, you think of it, but you try just to block that out. You try and block it out, and like I say, I can get as emotional as I want after it when I get back to the hotel or to my house or for days after it. But on the night, I've got to be strictly professional, and that's what I will be.
How difficult is it to maintain that level of professional?
Of course, it's alright me saying all these things. It might come to the mark and I come apart, but no, I don't believe it will. But it's alright, I'm saying, the right things, but you don't know, like anything, till it actually acts out. It's time to act it out. And but I believe that, I'm there to do a job. The opponent, listen, it's a fight I'm expected to win. There's no denying that. But he's fought at a good level, fought for the European title, lost on points with a very good fighter. So I've got to make sure I'm on it. And obviously might be a bit more nerves than normal because you want to go out on a high. You want to put in a good performance. I want to wake up that next morning and people saying, "Oh, you've still got so much left in that." Because it's better to be talking like that than, I'm glad that's your last fight. Even like a week or so ago, the lads are sparred, and I know that they're not just saying it to try and blow smoke. That's what Andy says. "Crolla, it's the best I've seen you in a few years," and I'd rather him at the same time where you go, "Oh, I don't know what to do what I'm hearing that." I'd much rather him be saying that than them saying, "I'm glad this is your last one," because they're honest with me. But I'll be, strong enough to think, no, that's it. I won't be talked into coming back like that.
I mean, it's interesting you do say that because everybody I've interviewed so far, everyone who's been here today training except for Joe, they've all said that this is the best they've seen you in a few years in the gym. And they've said that they have said it's to your face as well. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
It's like I just said. I'd rather him be saying that, and some of them don't believe me. Some of them go, "You're having a while," and I'm like, "No, I'm retiring." It's when I'll look after myself after boxing. I'll have a bit of a break and stuff like that. I just can't be getting drunk and agreeing to a fight somewhere. But a few throwies later. But no, listen, it's the right time for me to bow out. There's a few people close to me and a few people whose opinion I really respect that, think it's the right thing, and I respect their opinion.
I mean, one thing that I know Joe's in particular is very big on, and he said it to me on numerous occasions, that you guys who are currently in his stable, he sees you all as his last fighters. He doesn't see himself taking on anyone else unless it was an extremely special talent, effectively, because he kind of sees himself bowing out himself. With that in mind, is kind of like your health perspective, that he said that when you see certain tragedies, i.e. Patrick Day just a couple of weeks ago, the consequences of boxing can have these types of results. So for him, it is big for you guys to put yourself in the position you are and get out.
Yeah, totally, and he's right. And you know, you see that with Patrick Day. Obviously, I never knew him personally or met him, but you see it. No one had a bad word to say about him, and everyone says what a lovely guy he was. And I don't think he needed boxing. I think he was a clever kid, come from a good family, and to think he's lost his life doing something he loves, it's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking. And yeah, you know, it's very rarely to that extreme, but you carry on boxing too long, and I say all the time, boxing takes more from you than you take from boxing, and I don't want to be that guy. I've seen it happen with people who I know very well. You know, they've got very little from boxing, but I see how it's affected them now and their health later on in life. I want to be an example to these young kids we help train in the amateur gym and stay involved in the sport. And yeah, I believe that there's big fights out there where I can still pick up decent paydays, but you know, when you're being honest, then it's not having a defeatist attitude, but sort of while Lomachenko's got the belts, I'd always have to wait around, see what he does, if it might be a year, whatever, to try and challenge for them again. But there's hard fights there where you pick up decent paydays, but eliminators or something like that, it's another time and the clock's ticking, isn't it? And you know, you like I said, listen, you carry on too long to pick up an extra bit of money. There's easier ways to earn money. You might not earn as much money, but there's easier ways to earn money. And boxing's been a huge part of my life, and it's going to be very hard to let go. But like I say, I've got to be thankful what it does and get retire from boxing now while I've got the upper hand.
I mean, what does life after boxing hold for Anthony Crolla in the immediate future and then in the long term?
Yeah, it holds me staying involved in the sport, whether it be, like I say, I train a young professional, Dylan Evans, who's been injured the past few weeks, but he'll be back. Whether in the future I take on more professionals, I'm not sure. It's something, but first of all, I'm going to spend time with the amateurs. At the amateur gym, I get a great, pleasure out of that. Seeing the some young lads walk into a gym, you're not sure if they're ever going to box or not, and then they turn in and they're having the first fight. That's so rewarding, and you see them change as people and what boxing does for them. There's always bits of punditry that pops up, and I'm very thankful to that, to talk about what you love is the next best thing to doing what you love. So it's hopefully there's bits of that. I mean, hopefully I'll come down here a bit, help Joe out whenever he needs an extra set of hands. I'd be willing to, and with the lads and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know about that after seeing it today, but certainly some of the smaller lads. But no, boxing will be a huge part of my life still. It always has been, and it always will be.
Obviously, I know you've just spoken about what boxing will have in your life after boxing, but what about away from boxing? What do you intend to be doing with your downtime?
I try and spend more time with my family, with my little boy. He's football mad. Try and not be a pushy parent, but help him get the best out of that. Listen, he's 6 years old, but it's that. But there's not many things I get more pleasure out of than watching him train and stuff like that. It's with his football, so I spend more time as a dad. And there's things outside of the ring that I've got going on, so I'll be involved in them. Some boxing related, and I just.
United away days.
Yes, yeah. I'll get away more to watch the boys, that's for sure. Because that's something I miss. I can only get to the home games when I'm in camp, unless you're really close. But that's the kind of thing I'd do. I'd probably enjoy not, certain things like not being on a diet, spend even more time in coffee shops and stuff like that. I don't know, but just enjoy life a little bit. And but like I say, boxing will never be far from me.
What do you think is going to be the most difficult thing for you to give up when you do retire?
It's a good question. It's just the thoughts of accepting that you're never going to walk out in that arena again to a crowd singing your name. And that's not to sound like, wow, your ego or all that, but that I've said it and without sounding. It's like, it's one of them where unless you've done that walk, you won't know until you've done it. But it's just the buzz, the the adrenaline. You're so thankful to have that. So that's, you know, getting your head around that's not going to happen again for you is pretty, is going to be probably the hardest, because I can still come in, and I still will. Times come in, keeping fit, stay a little bit fit, doing the bags with my teammates, my ex-teammates. So you can still do that and have that little bit of friendly competition, but knowing that you're not going to be competing no more, and there's not going to be any more big nights like that as a fighter, yeah, I'd say that.
I think just looking at you then, I might be wrong in saying this, but just hearing you talk about just coming in, just having a bit of like a mess, not a mess around, but having, you know, you go on the pads and helping the lads out, etc. It kind of also comes across that maybe it might reignite a little fire inside you.
Yeah, that's why I've got to be careful. You know, I'm there, and if I'm seeing something, then I'm in the bags. That's probably why for a bit I probably shouldn't do that, because, you know, if you're back in the gym and you're flying, you're thinking, what am I retiring for? And you've got people around you saying, you're still flying. It's listen, it's better for them to say it, like I said earlier, it's better for them to be talking like that than to be saying, oh, thank God you've retired. But yeah, that's something I've got to be careful of. And I know the urge will be there, I'll tell you now. And I hope I wake up Sunday morning, November the 3rd, you know, saying, why have I retired? I hope I do wake up like that, rather than, like I've just said, thank God I've retired. But, you know, I've got to be strong enough and smart enough to know that's it.
I know that you are on limited time now because you've got things to do, but I do just want to go over a few fights through your career, looking at the world title fights effectively, just starting off with Darles Perez, your maiden world title fight, the first one, which was the draw. You look back on it, how does it has it sunk in yet that you wasn't given that decision?
Yeah, it has done. It sunk in pretty quick, really, because, do you know, I had a lot to be thankful for that night. And listen, I don't think there was one person in that arena that didn't think I didn't win the fight. Like, genuinely, I don't remember ever seeing online that I thought Crolla lost, or I thought, like, I had people say, oh, I didn't think it was, even people who said, don't know if it was a robbery, but he definitely won the fight. I mean, I was very, very unlucky, there's no denying that, but I had a lot to be thankful for after everything that had happened, to be boxing again, to walk out in front of that crowd. I had so much to be thankful for. So it sunk in straight away, but then I also had that attitude of, I've got a great chance of getting the rematch here because of the controversy. When I get that rematch, I've got to make sure I take that chance.
I mean, you just mentioned the rematch. Obviously, you knocked him out in the fifth round. The fifth round. How much pressure did you feel on yourself going into that rematch?
Honestly, I'm not saying it like you could ask anyone. I'd probably say the same. You might be able to say the same. That is the calmest I've ever been going into any fight. I just believe that whether there is a thing called fate, whether everything does happen for a reason, I believe that night there was no way that I wasn't going to become world champion that night. I remember Eddie Hearn said to me after it, he said, I was fuming in the changing room because I thought, he's so relaxed, he's going to let this moment pass him by. And I knew, it was like I knew that there was no way I was going to walk back to that changing room without that world title over my shoulder. It was, yeah, in a weird way, it should have been the most pressure that I've ever been on, but because if it didn't win that night, it's probably unlikely I'd get another world title shot, but I knew that it was meant to be that night.
There is that one brilliant photo of, you know, yourself and Eddie in the ring with the entire stadium just erupting, well, stadium, arena erupting when you picked it up. When you look at that photo, whenever you see it, what does it bring back with regards to the memories?
The one with Ismael Barroso, it's one of my favourite pictures there is. It's you see everyone, like you say, erupting. It was erupting, and people was there that night. So I'll never ever forget that noise when it was like 8, 9. 10. It's yeah, it's something I'll never get bored of hearing or looking at. It's because that was the fight where, you know, very few people thought I'd win. Defending the world title, walking into that arena, world champion, walking back out as world champion, introduced off Michael Buffer. It was, it was one of the greatest nights in boxing, that without a doubt.
Obviously, moving on from those two fights, Jorge Linares.
Yes, yeah.
I don't really want to say any regrets, but if there's anything you could have done differently.
Do you know the first fight? Yeah. Like, I genuinely, people might say, oh, you're right, but you're not right, sorry. But there was a point just before he buzzed me. I felt I was getting into a rhythm. I was getting it, and I thought, I'm going to get him in the next round or two. I'm going to break him and then start, chopping him down. And I genuinely believe that. People might say different, but how I felt, the fight was going, and he buzzed me. I think it was about the 6th, and it zapped me of just having that extra spark in my punches and in my feet, and it gave him that belief. And listen, the first fight was a close fight, but the right man won without a doubt. Obviously, it wasn't a rematch, but I really believe going into that second fight, I'm going to put this right now. I had a great camp, and for the first time in my career, I got beat convincingly, and Jorge was brilliant that night. It was one of his career best performances. There's no denying it. It was absolutely fantastic. So it was hard to take in the sense of, I've done everything right. I've just been well beat like that against the guy who I thought was going to reverse it, the decision. Whereas in the camp, like I said, I didn't cut no corners, so I also had to accept, I've done everything asked of me. I just simply got beat off the better man on the night, and I did, but yeah, there's certainly no regrets. You box for the greatest prizes in the sport. The Ring Magazine belt was on the line, and I boxed a fantastic fighter.
Was there any surprise in the second fight, just how much Jorge stepped it up?
I think he got it so right tactically, of moving, never held his feet. I expected him to stand a little bit more at times. He didn't, and he was brilliant. He was brilliant. It was one of his career best performances, an unbelievable career. There's no denying that. I'm sure he'd say the same. Obviously, there's a surprise element because I wasn't expecting it. Otherwise, I would have done something about it. But no, he was very good.
Obviously, I know you fought Ricky Burns amongst a couple of us in the build-up to Vasyl Lomachenko. Again, whenever you watch that bout back with Vasyl, what can you take from it?
Listen, I think I mentioned it then, the second Linares fight was the first time that I've been beat convincingly. Where really well. But even in that fight, there's still a lot of times, I'd feel comfortable going forward, looking to get my own shots off. Whereas, just being honest, with Lomachenko, stylistically, he's a nightmare for most fighters, but certainly was for me. He was in there, and it was almost the thing where you thought, when he went through the gears, it was almost a bit like, I've just got to wait for him to stop it. I can do very, very little about this. And that was it. And I think, should have tried to put it on him from the start, but I might have walked onto something earlier. Obviously, the ending wasn't the prettiest at all, but it was much worse than what it looked. But your pride's hurt a little bit. But I just wanted to give a much better account of myself, but he didn't allow me. Like I said, I think I caught for a really ruthless Lomachenko that night. He was fantastic, and he was out there to really make a statement, and every credit to Vasyl, he did. But again, there's no regrets. Great experience, fighting over in LA, topping the bill in America, at the Staples Center, friends, family who's come over to watch us. Very blessed to have that, and listen, the end result certainly wasn't what I wanted, but great experience, and yeah, I was in the ring with an all-time great, one of the best to do it without a doubt.
Is he your pound for pound number one?
Yeah, I'm a bit biased, but yeah, I always say about a debate between him and Terence Crawford. They're my two, but because he's knocked me out, I'll say Lomachenko.
And obviously, all roads lead to next Saturday night. Frank Akuaga again. Yes, I don't know if you want to give it a go.
No, I'll leave you with it.
Why the delay in the announcement on who you're going to fight?
Honestly, because he's had a full camp as Frank. It's not like he's got off the couch, with 2 weeks to go. Genuinely, he's had a full camp. But I'm not sure, to be honest. I genuinely don't know. I know there's talk about some title being on the line now. I don't know whether it will do now. Something like that. I don't know whether it will now or not. People say, your last fight, it doesn't really make sense. So probably not. But I don't know. Yeah, and it's not. Listen, I'm not. If you're around the bush, it's a fight I'm expected to win and win well. But he did fight for a European title last year. I think it was last year against Taita, who's a good fighter, and he lost on points to him. So, Frank, he's not coming over here to lose. He's had a full. He's coming over here to win. He takes my name. He puts him right in the picture. So obviously, when you talk about nerves, I'm always very relaxed. compared to most fighters, and people around me will say that, but there will be a bit of nerves there because I've got everything to lose. It's the last fight, and it's a fight I want to win and I want to put in a performance. But I'm not sure, like say, what the delay was, but it's happening now, and you know, a few names got about. I've a bit back, 3 names was put to me, and I was saying, you know, whoever. I'm not sure exactly. I can't really answer that. I'm probably not the man to answer that, but I've trained hard. You've seen today I'm in a good place, and I can't wait till November the 2nd.
I mean, there was that surprise element when it was announced with regards to it being so late.
Yeah.
Was there ever maybe a bit of thought in your mind as to what was going on?
I didn't know it was things sort of behind the scenes that needed sorting out, but there was never a time when I thought I wasn't gonna fight and stuff like that. I like to say I've had a good comp. Sure he has. Yeah, I'm not too sure what the delay was really, to be honest.
I mean, what can you tell us about Frank then? What should we expect?
I'll be honest, I've not seen loads of him, but like I said, he's fought Europeans that lost on points, so he's not a mug. He's not going to come over here to lie down. He's going to come over here to cause a huge upset. I've got to be on it. I've got to be on it, and I want to put in a performance. I really do. And listen, other than that, like I say, I want to wake up Sunday morning and people saying, "Oh, you've got so much more to give," but that'll be it.
Now, do you know yet if you're going to be headlining or Katie Taylor will be headlining?
I'm positive. Well, no, I've been told. Yeah, I'm certainly last on.
You're last on, okay.
Yeah, I think I've got massive respect for Katie,
Yeah.
but obviously it makes sense to put us last on. She's an unbelievable fighter, and proud to be on the same bill. And what she's done for me in boxing is unreal. But yeah, I'll be last on November the 2nd.
And last few things before I do let you shoot off. Away from yourself, obviously we saw Callum Smith in the gym today, getting ready for John Ryder. How's Callum been looking?
It looks fantastic. You've seen it today. It looks, he looks big, strong and powerful, doesn't it? But there's so much more to it with Callum. I say it all the time, technically, very, very complete fighter. And if in the amateur fighters who I work with, who say watch lad Callum Smith, be one of those to tell to watch. He does everything correct. For a taller guy, he fights such a great inside fight as well. He's great to watch, great to train alongside.
Does he shock you at all that he does make super middleweight?
It's honestly the amount of people who ask me. It would shock me if I wasn't close to him, and that's the truth. It would, but he genuinely, listen, it's not easy, but I've seen fighters struggle a lot more than what he does to make that weight, and that's he can still make super middleweight. I think the time will come when he moves up, but he can still make super middleweight, yeah, without a doubt.
I just want to get a quick few predictions before I do let you shoot off. This weekend, Regis Prograis, Josh Taylor, World Box Super Series final. Your thoughts?
I can't wait. Listen, I'm going Josh Taylor points, but I'm not. It's not a confident pick. I've only seen a bit of Regis, but I like what I've seen. And do you know what he's got? He's got very good timing. Timing beats speed. I always remember that from your Vernon Forrest, Shane Mosley. But I watched Josh Taylor in 2012 in the wild card, and ever since that day, I've always been really, really impressed. I've always kept an eye out for him from winning the Commonwealth Games, and what he's done in such a short time's unreal. It's only about his 14th fight, isn't it? 15 fight. He's beat your Postels, your Baron Jetler Samot. I'm going for Josh on points, but I cannot wait for it.
And on that undercard, we see Derek Chisora versus David Price again. Your thoughts, Anthony?
Yeah, listen, we don't know. There's no denying there. Big Price, he goes in a huge underdog. I like both lads, and Price is one of the nicest guys you could meet in British boxing. It's just, listen, it's hard. Like, there's no denying. Like, I was as an amateur at the same time both of these was in, on England camp, and there was no denying. I'm sure Derek could admit it. Price was levels above him, levels and levels above him. But the pros work out very different. Derek's had this, I don't know if you'd say an Indian summer or whatever, like this form late in his career. He looks fantastic. But you just, listen, there's no denying you've got to make Derek favourite to win. And if you was a betting man, you would. But that last fight with Price Dave Allen, he might have ticked a box of doing 10 rounds? Yeah. It was at a good pace, boxing well. That might have ticked a massive, massive mental block with him. And that's what makes it interesting again with them two.
And last couple quick things. Tyson Fury going into the WWE now. Your thoughts on his...
Fair play to him. He's getting paid fantastic money for not taking those punches. For not taking punches to the head. Oh, well, I don't know. Some people disagree, but nah, I think, listen, great for him. Profile, you forget that. Don't forget that company, WWE, it is huge. And it'll only make him one of the most popular fighters in the world.
And Nigel Benn announcing his retirement, his return from retirement against Sakio Bika. Your thoughts on Nigel's decision to do so?
Yeah, there's no denying it's a strange one. Nigel Benn is someone who, like most young, but you look up to, and I remember watching him and Gerald McLennan and the horrible thing that happened after the fight. Yeah. But that is one of the best fights I've ever seen, one of the most brutal fights I've ever seen. I remember watching that with my nana and granddad as a young kid, probably 8 or 9 or something. Unbelievable fight, what he's done for British boxing, and I just, I can't lie, like most, I can only worry. Coming back at 55 years old, he looks in fantastic shape for his age, but I just worry in the sense that, I mean, some people would say you've got to respect him, and you have in the sense, Sakio Bika, I know he's past his best, but up until, was it 2 years ago, he was fighting at world level, and I just worry, that's all. I certainly wouldn't advise it whatsoever, but whatever happens, I just hope he comes out safe, and that's all there is to it.
Before I do let you shoot off, Anthony, the last word with yourself, what would you like to say, everybody, ahead of your last dance Saturday night? Next
Saturday, tune in, whoever you come into the show. I appreciate you. I always say those people that buy tickets for the show on the night, I'm forever grateful for you. And let's go out with a bang. I can't wait for it.
Anthony Crolla, as always, I appreciate your time. Thanks for speaking to myself on Boxing Social.
Nick, good to see you, mate. Good to see you as always.